And to be a bit vague again, I've seen you in your little ventures, I guess, where you've like gone to all these crazy worlds, even something that I thought couldn't be ported because its UVs were busted. Well, I guess you must have fixed them manually because there's no other script out there that I'm aware of that fixes them, so you must have done it yourself. And then what? You just keep it to yourself and your little giggly group of friends? And this is to more than just that guy. This is like everyone I'm referring to in the group that I was sick of. Everyone. Except those two people that were helping me out. Those two people. One of those people is really good and a really good friend and like really awesome. The other person I feel pity for because I feel exactly the same as you. There was one instance where this person was being asked about something that was happening on the grapevine. And this person was about to ask, when is this thing going to happen? And one of the people who's now gone told him, don't ask because it'll delay. And I've been agreeing with that for a while, but now not so much in the way of complete and utter full blind support, because I feel just like that guy. I want to splurge upon everyone the reasons I will use this thing for. These salt spray dreams, these everything else that I've made that I wouldn't really be able to give examples of. But I want to splurge upon everyone these dreams too. That's kind of why when I released Flounder, when I released Skate Park, when I released Octostomp, I usually released something that related to the story with at least all these maps that came out. Because, well, they're out now, so why not learn a bit of history while doing so? Or fanon history, I guess, if you're ever interested in that stuff. I feel sorry for you, because I feel just like you. I want to tell them why I like these things, why I like these stories, why I like these things. I made these things that I like because everyone else's things were disappointing me. And these were not faults these people could fix. Other people like jovial, juvenile, slapstick humor, or meme depressive humor. And that's fine! You're allowed to like that stuff. You're allowed to like it, you're allowed to make it. But I don't like it. At all. I've never liked it. All throughout my time growing up, I have never liked that stuff. It's not that I hate humor in general, I just like it to be a bit more subdued or have a little bit of substance behind it than just being shallow and tasteless, I guess. If on the surface level it seems shallow and selfless and like nothing important, I guess. You're allowed to like it, that's fine. But I don't. And so I'm going to make these things that interest me. But I can't really do it without, having some serious conversations about how to do these things. That's kind of why, when I told User the story the first time, I was extremely surprised when he admittedly pretended to like it. When he, at one point while we were together, he grabbed one of the scripts that I'd uploaded onto DeviantArt, and he read through it with me. He said it was a bit predictable, and, to some extent, I totally agree. The point of it, though, was meant to be as a visualization thing. This is what they would say, but I would have the images in my head to be able to make through with it. But the fact of the matter is, like, on some level, he liked it a lot. He used it as motivation for a very, 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 very brief period of time as well. And that surprised me, because no one I had seen up to that point had said anything like that. Other people chastised me for stories I made in the past, and so I then just continued making them in silence. Eventually, I might come across someone. And I'm serious when I say no one. Because, again, like, in Sky's server, like, I used to be in Sky's server, and while I was in there, they wanted feedback for, like, stories and such. They were like, okay, you can post your stuff here. And sure, I did post it there. And, you know, I normally give a couple time zones lenience for this stuff, because I'm in Australia. When I post this stuff, they're usually asleep. So that's fine. I'm not gonna be all mad that you didn't respond immediately. That's just stupid. But there's usually a little bit of leeway that I give towards this kind of thing. And so, when they would post a picture of something that was seemingly meaningless, just something to look pretty, they would get feedback, if like only 2 or 3 people. But when I would post something, and this happened more than once, I'd get nothing. Yeah, I'd wait a day. I would usually wait a day, but they said nothing. They said absolutely nothing. No bads or goods. Nothing. Just pure, unadulterated nothing. Not even on the picture itself, since they're on DeviantArt and DeviantArt has comments. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Not on Discord, not on DeviantArt, not anywhere. Nowhere. To receive a response about this kind of thing for me is extremely difficult. So to have user, back then, pretend to like it, pretend to be invested, because obviously he doesn't and didn't care at all, was a legitimate surprise. There are things being made. Those things are completely ignoring any and all feedback, even the feedback that would make it better. Those things are just gonna turn out really horribly bad. And I started this video with a lot of those things. Or like this video series, I guess. I did start this with those things. And I started with them for a reason. Because those things were ignored. They were just pushed aside. People that would want to do those things, myself included, are just not able to anymore. To get a little stupid, to get a little whiny, I guess. I've sometimes, not all the time, sometimes seen when others have posted about their characters on Twitter. They do what I've done on DeviantArt on Twitter, basically. They'll post a character in an environment from Gmod with the tools that currently exist. They'll do that, they'll post them up on Twitter, and those people get to post their stories and stuff up there. Some people even have multiple accounts for like their separate story, like Coif is for me, how it is for them, their big story. And I feel a slight tinge of jealousy. Not because they've got attention. No. I don't care about attention. No. I feel jealousy because they can post these things and I can't. I don't want to. not only that, I just simply don't have the assets yet, immediately, in full yet. I really don't. So to see them post these stories is just... sometimes it makes me want to cry. They'll have posted their colourful characters that they've made with some of the modifications that exist, and with some of the things that are coming, some of those modifications are going to be taken away from other people. And that's... it's just horrible. We're regressing instead of progressing. And I don't care if you view this as stubborn. It absolutely, to an extreme extent, is. It is stubbornness. I don't care, though. There are things that are supposedly happening. Half of them are already done, I guess. Even though they're not really done, because a lot of the things are missing that would make them good. But they're currently in existence in another place, another different place, where all you guys live in that meme depressive jovial humor, and like, there's a part of me that wants to 100% respect that you like that stuff, because that's your interest, your passion. I guess, if you call meme depressive humor a passionate thing. Some have described it as not, yet you partake in it anyway. But then it's like, what? You're entitled to that, and not other people for other reasons? Other people aren't allowed to feel that way? Other people have to spend 3 years or more tidying up your crap? Inkopolis Plaza currently is already terrible. And yet it could take up to 4 or 5 or 6 years before anyone gets the chance to work on a better version of it. The only reason it's just probably not in a good enough state. But to them, a good enough state is when it's basically already completed, halfway, and completely ignored everyone else. I'm trying to go as vague as possible, because, trust me, I would love to go in these guys' DMs and splurge to them my whole reason for liking and doing these things. I would love, this person that said he was demotivated, I would love to go into his DMs and, explain all this. But you want to know what that would get me? Okay. Emoji O shape, emoji O shape, emoji O shape, emoji eyes. Or in the other's case, it'd be radio silence. And in any of the others' case, why would they bother to listen? Haha, you're a piece of cringe. You love only dark and serious stuff. And I've had that happen to me before. Legitimately. That's how my stories got criticized the first time, to the point where I ended up getting bashed for simply making them. And to an extent, with those old stories, I agree with them now, because those stories had a whole bunch of logic loopholes and stuff that I didn't exactly care to think about. Nowadays, I like to think my stories through. But it's not like anyone else would want to listen. As I've explained, I received no response when Sky's server, when I would just post even the smallest of details. A comic strip with nothing interesting going on except some things in the description, and yet no one will say a word. Trying to get them to understand is like slamming your head against a brick wall. And yet these people are making these things that I really, really need. But yet, at the same time, these people are also making them in really awkward ways. They don't understand. They understand SFM perfectly. They hate it too. But they don't understand Gmod. They don't understand Gmod's limitations and/or issues. I like Gmod's physics. And I will sit on that for a while. It's not going to suddenly go away just because, SFM is a better program. I like moving physics, and I like well done physics. That's why I love users' ragdolls to this day. To this day. Even if I don't exactly care about him anymore because of the fact he's shamed me for liking these things. He made art. These people sure are making art, but they're making art they don't understand. And I want to help explain. And heck, maybe if they weren't so stingy, maybe they'd distribute this stuff. And I totally understand there have been people who have chastised them before, at least more than one person. One person went on a complete bashing spree and completely demotivated this one person. Yeah, thanks. Now you've created the darkest timeline that we all live in. Thanks. And the other person has been this hyper analytical jerk, I guess, who has also pulled them down the line because they can't stop focusing on them and what they've said. Both of these people together have created the darkest timeline that we all live in, where no one is willing to share anymore. No one is willing to share, no one is willing to say much more. And then you want to know what irks me at the end of all this? Is when these people leave. When these people go on social media and say, the community is so crap. The community is so crap. And I wish it could be erased. Some giant big mistake. Get a giant eraser. You want to know what I would erase? This community. Because this community was a mistake. Instead of trying to look at the problem and make it better. Instead of trying to see, here is a problem. How could we fix it? Instead of letting everything define you. I don't make my salt spray rig dreams just so specifically I can make my alien race a reality. I don't also make it so then people can put in their tower control things either, but guess what? Those things are possible because I don't exactly want, some semblance of it to just be completely gone. It'll still be a salt spray rig, but I'll put in my assets that I found all over Gmod. But it has limitations. It's a really, really old engine. So of course, of what I find, I want exactly to use it in the way that's right. The meme depressive people that were the majority in that group were the reason I left. There was no point in convincing them because those people didn't want to listen. We tried, but they didn't want to listen. They just wanted to sit in the sidelines, act abusive whenever I gave them things, by keeping those things that I gave them to themselves. I haven't received a single thing that I gave to them, things that they've made out of it. I've never received any of those things back. I give so much to other people, and then I get nothing. And no, I'm not looking for everything. I'd rather ask for it if it's good. But then also, I don't want to boast the same way other people have done to me. If I want something to be given to me, I want it to be given to everyone. I'm no better than anyone else when it comes to artwork for this thing. But I'm doing it because I want to make it for myself. Myself first priority, everyone else second. And yeah, that is selfish. But then at the same time, if I make a hat, I'm not making that hat just for me. I'm not going to put the bandana right ways across the face just because that's what I want. I do it the way everyone else wants it to be. I said in that other video that I've made on the other channel that was controversial, I said in that video that I was scared, and I'm still scared. Because not only are these people just not giving these things out, those people are ignoring everyone, including myself. Those people are ignoring half a world. Eventually, so that we're going to get spammed with questions that can only be answered with, good luck trying to find the answer yourself.